Thank you, Irina. Clearly, she's my friend, and I've paid her for this, as you can understand. Okay, so thank you for coming. Today we're here. Actually, I'm here talking to you because it's a funny story, so I have to share it with you. Because for Christmas, I decided I wanted to give something to my friends, and I have loads of friends. I'm very grateful for that. And I decided instead of going and buying something in a Chinese store and pay €2 for something that was going to be thrown down the bin, I don't think it's ethical anyway to pay for something that somebody has worked really hard and was paid very, very little to do. So I thought I'll do something myself. So I decided this year I was going to make soap. And I made the soap, and apparently it was a huge success. And everybody said, oh my god, this is great. And then Roger said, you should start a blog. But I'm already in front of the computer all day long, and that's the last thing I want to do. And I started talking to Irina over a cup of tea and cake. There's always cake. And she said, why don't we do workshops? And maybe people would like to learn how to do these things. So I thought, that would be actually nice. And then we met up for more coffee and cake. And we discussed the fact that there's this new trend in Italy. It's a social movement. It's called Happy Degrowth. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. And what they say is basically, why don't you go back to sharing your skills, your information, your knowledge with your community? Why don't you connect and get in touch with people who live beside your door? I don't know people who live in my building. Like the only person I know is a girl called Marta. She lives on the 3rd floor, and that's only because my oven let me down on my birthday, and I wanted to bake a cake, so I went with batter upstairs, and I kept knocking at every door, and nobody was opening. So finally she opened it, and she saw this crazy lady, and I was still, I'm sorry, can I use your oven? And she was like, who are you? I live in number 12, I'm downstairs, you come, for the washing machine every day, I'll see you, I know who you are. You can't see me because I'm behind the curtains, but I see you. Can I bake my cake here? And she was like, wasting my precious time. And she was like, okay. So eventually she let me bake the cake, and now I know Marta. But if it hadn't been for that, I don't know anybody in my building. So I thought that was really, really sad. So
it could be avoiding you,
I know. That's another thing, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, Happy Degrowth. How can I go ahead with this thing in here? So I forgot to ask you.
Right. No, it's okay because
yeah, great. Okay, so this is my first presentation.
Later,
I don't know how to do it. You have to bear with me. So yeah, basically this is the happy snail of the Happy Degrowth. It started around 2000, okay? In France it's décroissance, I think. In Spanish it's decrecimiento. And in Italian is degrowth, decrescita. But because in Italy, God forbid, you're trying to take away something from me, my comfort, my wealth, my lifestyle, then we had to put the word happy in front of degrowth. So we're very, attached to our lifestyle and everything. After World War II, actually not before World War II, like after the Great Depression, what happened was that countries were trying to build up their economies again, and they came up with this GDP, which is countries' gross domestic gross product, whatever. And basically, what it does, it just measures production and what you can actually sell to people. It doesn't relate at all with my well-being or my social interactions or how I connect with my community. So, like I read somewhere, like GDP increases if I have a car accident. So I have a car accident, and the country apparently is really happy because I'm going to have to pay a garage to fix my car, get spare parts for the car that I actually smashed, and then maybe my insurance is going to go up, my dealer is going to be delighted. But I'm going to maybe end up in hospital and having to pay a bill. And that, all increases, let's say, the production of the country. But I'm now better than I was yesterday before I had the car crash. Instead, if I meet up with Irina and we decide, let's do jam today, we can produce some jam and then we can store it for the winter or whatever, that's actually hurting GDP because we're not producing anything really. We're actually, taking money away from the economy if you want it. So yeah, as I was saying, basically they found out that the more the GDP grows, the less our happiness is not really related. So I'm not necessarily happier if my GDP is higher, and has nothing to do with I don't know how my family lives or how I connect with the rest of the society. Actually, I'm gonna give, if you want, I can send you the presentation because there are a couple of nice recipes I think I wanted to share with you, but I didn't know how many people were showing up and I had to do this at work, so I couldn't print 2,000 copies of the whole thing, so sorry. But I can email it to you and you can have a look at it if you want. So Robert Kennedy said that country GDP measures everything except which makes life worthwhile, which I think is a nice way of saying that is true. So what happened with this all GDP is that and marketing and everything, and I studied marketing in college, and when I finished my degree I said, oh shit, I've been studying the devil's work and I spent 4 years doing that. How stupid you have to be! But it took me 4 years to realize it, and basically, seriously, I'm not joking, and I just realized that. Well, are there any marketing people here? Before I worded myself forever. okay, so I can talk. Basically, a marketing person, what they do is they'll let you know that you have a need before you know. And they'll let you think that you need something before you think you do. So the whole idea is, how can I get people to spend more money in something they don't really need, but they're going to think, God, how did I do yesterday? I didn't have it. My life was shit. Sorry, really bad. Sorry. So, a few years ago there was a really cool movie. It was called The Johnsons, or like with Demi Moore and another really nice guy. I can't remember anyway. It was nice. And I had a look at it. And it was amazing. Basically, they were just portraying how our society is all focused on the appearance, and how what I have or what I show I have really matters. And I come from a society. I come from Italy. If you haven't grasped that yet, I come from Italy, and in Italy it's very, very important how you portray yourself. So it's more who you show to be, or choose to be, than rather who you are, which is a sad thing, really. So I might not have, let's say, enough money to maybe go to the theatre or go to a concert or, buy, I don't know, books or travel, but I need to have enough money to buy my Gucci bag and my, I don't know, Bulgari shades, or, stuff that if you really think about it, a purse is a purse. Who cares who made it? But, so basically, yeah, going back to the whole degrowth thing, it takes time, money, and energy, and these are all the resources we have. So why don't we choose wisely how to use our resources instead of just wasting, our energy and money and everything and trying to impress other people? There are other models that we could choose. So now we're at a junction, and there's the economic growth, or there's a different way of living. There's a sustainable model that we could follow, and that focuses on different things. So what we've used up until now doesn't work anymore. So, and the whole idea is, how can I change it if I don't know where I'm going? And I think this is great. It's a brilliant time, because we are just inventing. Irina says all the time, we have to be creative. So when you don't know what you're doing, you have to be creative. And we have the web, which is a great thing. Different nations are doing different things. And like, for instance, Bhutan, I think it's pronounced, in 2008 started measuring, I'm sorry, I'm in your way, I think. Sure? Because I'm half blind as well. So started measuring the gross national happiness instead of product. So they wanted to know if people are happy. Who cares, how much money we really have, as long as you're happy? they want to become the first country to be like 100% organic. They want to grow their food organically. 85% I think of the population, no, 95% has clean water and electricity, like stuff that really matters. So they also have no fossil fuels or nuclear because they just don't need it. Okay, there are other examples. I wanted to keep this as Italian as possible, but I wanted to relate as well to other countries to show that it's not something that is happening in Italy. Like it started in France and in Spain, but it's actually spreading, and it's called differently in different places. So in England, for instance, they have, in England and everywhere actually, but these two are in England. There's the transition towns. One is called Brixton Energy, and the other one is Transition Towns Totals, I think. Okay, thank you. Basically, the Brixton Energy, they're great because they run this community, and they've built solar panels. And what they do is, through this system, they can actually produce energy for themselves. They train people in order to, learn how to make new systems for the solar panels, and so they have employment. The money stays in the community, and it tends to get the community together. So they do all these events, and they could be like, they get together for food. They work hard, but they celebrate as well. And once they achieve something, then they'll get together and they'll cook all together, and they'll spend time together. And it's really, really good because the community stays together, and it builds a sense of belonging. So instead of being, especially like they're in South London. So London, it's massive, and it's very easy not to know who's living beside you. So they have these ways of getting together and achieve something. It all starts with one person starting to talk to another person and then wanting to achieve something. So together, one person can't really do much, but together, each of us have different expertise and vocations, I would say. So it's great when these things get together, because then it enables the group to grow and do more and more and more. And this other group here, they just get together and they do different things. They have a community garden. They have a library. So basically, what they do with whatever they're doing, like they sell the vegetables at the market, and with the money that they get, they might buy more seeds. They might buy more books, and the books get circulated around the community, which is, it's fantastic. Like, we always wait for somebody else to do it. The government should do it, and my city council should do it. But we are our community, so we should start doing something, and then people will come along. I read this, which was actually kind of nice. In 2001 in Italy, there were more bicycles sold than cars. And this was the first time after World War II. And that's because in Italy, we're feeling the economic crisis really, really badly. We've started rediscovering bikes. We've started rediscovering going to your grandma's place and, make jam and make pasta and do these kind of things that, were kind of old-fashioned. So everything that was old-fashioned was a bit kind of sure that my grandmother used to do that. And my parents' generation completely skipped that. So I was so lucky to grow up in a family where going for a walk meant going to the shopping centre to see what we could buy, and get some takeaway and then go home. My grandma, they were both from cities, so none of them taught me anything. And my mom said, why would you need to learn how to knit when you can go and buy a jumper which is already made? And I thought, it makes sense, but what if I want to make it? So I didn't have that, and now there are all these bloggers in Italy, and that's how I started to know all these things. There are all these bloggers who are getting together, and they're starting to pass on these skills. So they're called skills shares. They organize workshops, and they're actually free. You only pay maybe, if I'm using, the oil or something to make the soap, you'll only pay 2 or 3 quid for the stuff that I bought to make it, and then you can take the soap home with you, for instance. And they're great because you learn a skill and you can pass it on. So the whole idea is, there are like loads of groups who do these kind of things. But then you have to pay loads of money. But why does it always have to go around the money? Why can we not do something that doesn't concern money? So, degrowth, it's basically downscaling of production and consumption. So basically it's to increase our well-being and to have a more quality in the country, in the planet. If everybody was to live the way Westerns live, like we wouldn't have the earth anymore. Like for each of us, we need 3 earths because we're using something that doesn't even belong to us. We're using a share of the earth that might belong to somebody in Thailand or somebody in Nepal or whatever. So, and China and Brazil, India, like they're all growing really, really fast and they're all trying to copy us and they want to live the way we live. But there are not enough resources for everybody. Wouldn't it be better if everybody like finds, instead of being like this, if we find the balance, you know, and we can all live at pretty much the same level. I know it sounds a bit utopic, but it can be done. So yeah, these are the things you can read yourself when you have the time. So for 2015, the UN is scheduling to announce the Sustainable Development Goals, but why do we have to wait for somebody else to do something? Why can't we start it? So, you know, people are getting together and things are starting to happening. So just a few examples of degrowth. So degrowth, and I thought it was nice, you know, to portray with like love is and degrowth is. So bits and songs at your friend's place instead of going to a restaurant. Like you go to a restaurant, you have to pay what, maybe 30, 40 euro for an evening. Like if you go to your friend's place, and sometimes we do that, I think it's great. Each of us brings something. I might bring pizza or focaccia, and you know, somebody else might bring something else, and you pay basically nothing. You have to eat anyway, so you're just cooking a meal for yourself and for your friends. And you can stay at your friend's place. They're not going to say, I'm sorry, we're closing, so you have to get out of here, which happens all the time when we started talking. And the places here are closed very early anyway. So it's, you know, making jam at your place or taking turns in watching each other's kids. I heard somebody saying, my God, it's really expensive having kids now. And I said, what do you mean? Like, how can a kid could be expensive? Like, what do you feed them? And they said, yeah. And they were like, oh, you know, you have to get a babysitter if you want to go out, and you have to do this and you have to do that. I said, well, what about your parents or something? Can you keep the children? Well, no, they can't. They're working, they're doing this. But I thought, well, you know, let's say there are 6 families, okay, in the same estate. If they get together, and they all have kids, because everybody has kids nowadays, but me, obviously. But if they all get together, and, you know, I can watch your kids one night, and I got to keep all the kids, and then you guys can go out, and the night, you know, the night after, we can do the contrary. Like, you know, I go out, you keep my kids, or like we can do that the following week. Like, you know, that's free. Why do we always have to pay money for something? You know, so it's the whole idea of starting to detach ourselves from the money. And sorry, if I'm going very fast, you can slow me down and you can stop me. Okay? So yeah, you can cycle to work or take the bus instead of getting the car. You can pack your own lunch from home. You can visit your friends instead of phoning them. Supporting the community with projects and ideas. It's great. There's this group called the Dublin Chicks with Sticks, and it's here in Dublin, and we meet up every second Sunday to knit in the Exchange Hotel. And it's great because we meet up and we get to knit a bit. We don't really knit much, but we talk a lot. And we share loads of things, as you can imagine, obviously. And they're all as talkative as me, so can you imagine the chatter in the room? Like, but they love us, we're very entertaining, apparently. It's great because then people come over and they're like, oh my God, my grandmother used to do that, and it's great that you guys are doing it again, and how come? You know, you're learning a skill, and it's nice because then you share, and do you know how to do that, and can you learn, can you teach me how to do the whole here, and how do you put it together? It's a sharing thing that I think it's nice. So yeah, basically it's to reconnect with friends, family and community and to meet your needs. Like if I'm sick one day, instead of, I don't know, going to the doctor straight away, I might just try and fix myself out. But my friend might come over and might cook for me, a nice soup, or might be so kind as to go and get some grocery shopping for me. Okay, so what does degrowth mean in practice? It's basically buy less, consume less, and work less. If I don't need all these things that society says I should have, then I need less money, which means that I can work a bit less, which means I have more time to read or do whatever I like. And instead of going, you know, go, and then arrive at the end of the day and you're exhausted, you know, you have more time for yourself. You can cook and you can eat simple things. Cook and eat all your things, like all your food from scratch. I think it's great. Instead of buying stuff that is already made in Tesco. I'm not saying that it's not good, or you know we shouldn't do it, but I think it should be an exception. Well, today it's the other way around. You know, usually we take stuff that is already made, and we rarely do things from scratch. Handmade, homemade, and DIY. Myself and my friends, most of the time, we do stuff by ourselves, and we do maybe little presents, or I don't know, something that doesn't necessarily have to be super fancy and out of the store. Something that I made and that I want to share with you. It could be, you know, sauerkraut, or it could be, I don't know, funny shaped mittens or something like that. But I think they're nice because it's the time that you've put in that you're giving to your friend. So yeah, you can share and participate and talk to other people to see what. I know. I shouldn't be saying it, but you know, the more you talk, the more you share, and the more things come up, and you're like, oh my God, did you think about that? I thought I was the only one thinking it, but no. So yeah, a great thing that I actually came across while I was researching the whole degrowth is the time bank. So, okay, the whole degrowth thing is great, but you know, it sounds a bit, okay, I can work less, but I still need the plumber if I break, you know, my drain, or if I still need, I don't know, if I can't do it, I still need a tailor to take in my skirt, possibly. But with the time bank, basically it works that the members sign up, and it's all on a voluntary base. The members sign up, and I say, okay, I'm really good at, I don't know, oh God, what am I really good at? I could be baking a cake, or just doing a scratchbook, whatever. And then somebody else could say, you know, I could, I don't know, suggestions.
Make soap.
Yeah, somebody else could say I could make soap. So I might exchange what I do with what the other person does. Or, which is even better, like the gift economy. You give is the highest form of economy, they say, because you give freely and you receive freely without necessarily having to give or receive from the same person who gave you something in the first place. It's just the act of giving and the act of receiving, which is completely detached from the value. Like, you know, I could exchange a kilo of apples with some tools to fix my garage, but they don't necessarily have the same value on the market. But, you know, money, it's something that doesn't exist here. So you have to start thinking, you know, get away from the money. So just think, do I need the apples? Do I need the tools? Do I need what? Somebody who fixes my bikes? So what do I... So you're getting something for your needs, and it's not going to cost you money, basically. Loads of food also is available if we go foraging, as Frank was saying before. You know, it's something that was done years and years ago, but we can still do it. There's loads of stuff that we can get if we go for a walk in the countryside, maybe on a Sunday, and you know, you can really get some really good stuff. So loads of people who kind of follow this social movement called degrowth also have vegetable gardens, and I was amazed by the fact that it doesn't. I thought you need, oh my God, you need such, you know, huge amount of land to have a vegetable garden, which is, you know, is going to feed you properly. But you actually need less of a quarter of an acre apparently to feed a family of 4. And so I'm alone. I thought, Jesus, you know, a few pots would suffice me. So I'm going to give it a try. I live in a studio, so I don't have that much space, but I'll sort it out. I'll come with something creative. So something that I make, as I was saying, I live in a studio apartment. It's tiny, really tiny, but I can still make something. So I do, like, I make my own oat milk. Sorry, I'll go down so you'll be able to see it. And you know, you can make sauerkraut or hummus, like things that are really, really simple to make. If you buy your pulses dry and you soak them and then you cook them, they're way cheaper than it actually is to buy them in tins or like in little packages. This is homemade pasta, like it's really, really simple to make, and I'm sure we're going to run a workshop about it one day because it's great. It's really, really tasty, and usually I used to associate it with my mom's, my grandma's place. And she didn't even used to make it, like she used to buy it from another lady, but it was something you would get at my grandma's place. You can make deodorant, like when I became vegan, most of the stuff that I needed was really, really expensive. And I thought, God, that's really expensive, and you know, I need this, I need that, I need that, how am I going to do it? So I started researching and I found these really easy recipes, and they do work, and you'd be amazed and think, oh my God, I used to pay £7 for that when I got it for 30 cents. Was I so stupid? But then, you know, I didn't know at that stage. So this is the famous homemade soap that I made, and apparently won everybody over. I made two versions, and it's funny because the first one was supposed to be orange and cinnamon, but because I don't wear my glasses, I put turmeric. But everybody was saying, my God, it's gonna stain. But no, it didn't stain, so it was grand. So yeah, that's the story of the soap. That's another handmade liquid soap, and you can use any container you have. You can recycle, wash and recycle. This is something I found on the internet, which I thought was really, really nice, and it's really stylish. And what it is fruit boxes. So you basically go to the guy who sells fruit and you ask, can I have this for free? Do you mind? You have to be cheeky. Okay, you have to be cheeky. I'm very cheeky. I ask for discounts even on sales. I don't care. They're going to say no to me. I don't give a shit. Sorry, I always ask. So most of the time it's a no, but when it's a yes, you know, it's a bargain. So so you can get together. You can ask your friend to come over. Maybe you can assemble it together. You can offer him or her a nice cup of tea and coffee, and cake or biscuits or something that you have made. Obviously, there's no buying. Excuse me. But this is another nice present I actually thought I wanted to make. So I have a few nice jumpers which have sustained a bit of damage because I always cook or make experiments where I'm wearing something that I'm not supposed to, and I've ruined them all. So they have funny spots somewhere. So I decided I'm going to chop them and I'm going to make the mittens. So that's in Christmas next year, okay? I shouldn't give it away, but that's something else I found on the internet. Instead of buying the, you know, the plastic little things, the little containers, you could actually make something like that. And you know, this lady, she was saying, it was on a blog that I found it, she was saying that her kids, because she was giving them different things to have like a complete lunch throughout the day. They were going to school with something like this big, like these books, and then these boxes, plastic boxes for the food. So she came up with this homemade lunch pockets, which were great. So that's another thing I found, and which I thought was really, really nice. That says another word is not only possible. She's on her way, and I can hear her breathing. I think it's great because it is true. Like people are, you know, moving and getting together and come up with other different ideas in order to, you know, overcome big multinationals. And sorry, I'm coming back here just to say that it is true. We're going to be more than them, you know. They're going to be few and we're going to be more. So we are, was something on the other day I read, we are the 98%. And which means that we are the majority, you know, we have that with us. So these are a few links that I thought it would be nice to have, and it's where I got some information about degrowth and some, like most of this stuff, well, it's all in English, but most of the stuff that I read was in Italian, so for me it was really hard to kind of, you know, trying to give it to you as a reference. And then there are these two websites, Naturalmente Felice, Uno Cookbook, and they write in Italian and in English, and they're both vegan websites for recipes, and they do as well homemade stuff. So if you have any questions and answer, I will shut up for a bit, I promise. These are my details if you want to get in touch with me, if you have any ideas, want to share something, I will be delighted to hear from you. You can switch on the light. Thank you very much.
Much obliged, everyone.